Prince Adeyemi standing alone on the balcony. He looks restless. The king comes in. He said, "A prince who stares at the horizon too long forgets the ground beneath him." Adeyemi turned. His father, the king, stand behind him. Prince Adeyemi said, "And a king who never looked beyond the ground forgets the sky." And there was tension between them. Then the king said, "The council has chosen." And there was a pause. The king firm. He said, "You will marry Lady Zainab." Lady Zainab walked through the palace hall. Every step power. Court women whispering, saying she was not choosing. She positioned herself. Zainab meets the prince. Smiling, she said, "My prince." And the king and the prince cold. He said, "My obligation." She smiled wider. She enjoyed the challenge. Loud chatter, bargaining, drums. Amara walked through the market carrying goods, tired but glowing. Unknown to her, the prince is there, disguised in simple clothes, and they both collide. Basket falls, fruit scatter, time slow. Amara quickly kneeling down, saying, "I am sorry, I didn't see." Before she could finish her statement, Adeyemi softly said, "Neither did I." And there was silence between them. They looked at each other. Something shifted. They gathered the fruits together. Adeyemi said, "You speak like someone who is afraid of being blamed." And Amara smiled. She said, "Because I usually am." Adeyemi said, "And yet, you don't look broken." Amara responded, saying, "Maybe I haven't had time to be." He studied her. A palace guide approaches quietly. He said, "My prince, you shouldn't be here." And Amara freeze. She said, "Prince?" She stepped back. Adeyemi quickly said, "That doesn't change anything." Amara said, "It changes everything." And she leaves. He watches her go. Something rare has begun. Amara returned late. Ronke waiting for her. Ronke said, "Where were you?" Amara said, "The market was crowded." And Ronke slapped her. Ronke said, "Do not lie to me." Tunde watches from distance, this time more angry. Later that night, Tunde went to Amara's room. He said to her, "Who were you with?" Amara responded saying, "No one." And Tunde said, "You are a bad liar." And they both and he paused. Tunde said, "Serious, my mother is watching you." Amara said, "She is always watching." Tunde quietly said, "No, this time it's different." At a council meeting, all the elders gathered. The first elder said, "The people need stability." The second one said, "Zainab brings alliance." And the king responded, saying, "Then it is settled." Adeyemi firm. He said, "I will not marry without choice." Silent and dangerous. Zainab hear rumors. A market girl. Her eyes darken. Zainab cold whispered to herself, saying, "A girl from the streets competing with me?" She laughed softly. And she said, "I will find her." At night, Amara walks home, and the prince appeared. Amara said to him, "You shouldn't be here." Adeyemi said, "And yet I am." Amara said, "You are a prince." Adeyemi responded, saying, "And you are the first person who spoke to me like I wasn't." And there was silence, intimate. Adeyemi said softly, "Tell me your name." Amara, after hesitation, she said, "My name is Amara." Adeyemi smiled and said, "It means grace." Amara said, "No, it means survivor." They stand close, not touching, but everything has changed. Then the prince said, "Then I want to know how you survive, Amara." She met a stranger in the market. He wasn't just anyone, but the prince. A prince fought for a servant, but powerful enemies are watching. Zinab reaction. Can love survive power? A secret love. A dangerous truth. The palace is watching.